From what you're describing, the motorcyclists or the bikers, if I can, that you're talking about, seem to be more prevalent and really not the stereotype.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly are the leather wearing, and you see some of them. They have the big beards and, 6'3", 250 pounds, and you're like, I don't know that I want to meet him in a dark alley. And then he's the one that comes over and gives you the biggest bear hug. And some of these people you only see once a year, and you see them at one of our events, and they remember you in the grocery store, and they may come up to you in the grocery store and give you a hug as well.
Welcome to Riding Counsel with Rich Jaffe, where the open road meets expert advice. I'm Richard Jaffe, an attorney and biking enthusiast, and this is the podcast where we dive into the world of motorcycling, safety, culture, charitable giving, and riding right. So, whether you're a seasoned rider or just getting started, let's talk bikes, the road, and everything in between. Let's ride! Hello. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of RidingCounsel.com, Motorcycle Law and Charity, a guide to riding right. And today I'm really thankful to have an amazing guest with me today. And her name is Kristie Rusitano. And instead of me telling you all about her amazing things that she's done charity-wise in her life and for her community around her, I just figured I would let her do that. So, Kristie, welcome to my podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Richard, obviously, for reaching out to me and allowing me to come on here and share what we're doing. So, again, my name is Kristie Rusitano. I'm from upstate New York. I'm from the Syracuse, Utica, Rome area. I've bounced around a couple times in that area. And just this year, we started a new organization, and it is called Finding the Next Step Together, Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So for the past several years, probably since about 1998, I've been working and volunteering with national organizations, primarily in the cancer field. And a couple of years ago, I kind of had a moment and said, I'm working full time, I'm doing all these charity events. I need to make sure that my time is focused, and I needed to figure out where my heart really was. And speaking with some of my family members who have been volunteering with me since 1998, I said, I think I need to step away from the national charities. Not that I don't think they do a great job, but I needed to help local families. And I just figured that's where my heart was. So we decided to start this. My family has always been a huge supporter of mine, and every time I have a crazy idea that's going to take up immense amounts of time, they look at me a little cross-eyed and go, all right, where do you need us to help? So it's not only family, it is friends that have become family as well. So when I say family, it's not just, by blood, it is people that have been, part of this journey with me for so long.
This episode has been brought to you by Riding Counsel. Don't forget to visit us at ridingcounsel.com. No, that's great. I love the concept first that, you're talking about, that friends can really become family. I mean, it's such an important thing to be there for one another. And, we call our friends family because it just describes that connection that can even be stronger than
100%.
true family.
100%. And that's kind of what we want to do with this organization as well. So, finding the next step together, the idea behind it is to bring the community together and we have a primary focus, I guess, on families that have a child that have been diagnosed with a life-changing diagnosis. That's what they've been given. So it could be cancer, it could be autism, it could be Down syndrome, blood disorders, seizures, anything that really kind of changes how your family approaches day to day and how your thinking changes. There's so many things out there that families don't know when all of a sudden they're thrown into those experiences.
Yeah.
So not only do we want to be an information hub for them, almost all of our volunteers, and we are 100% volunteers. Most of us work full-time jobs, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then we do this on the side to assist. But most of the volunteers all have children that fit into different categories. So when you're talking to one of us, we've actually been in your shoes. We know exactly where you're coming from. And I think that just helps parents a lot. My backstory is that my crazy, wonderful 23-year-old son
Mm.
was diagnosed with a brain tumor at age 7.
Oh, oh,
And
horrible,
that
horrible.
just changes how you look at the world.
Mm.
And it is completely different. I had a huge, huge family and friends support network
Mm.
when my son was diagnosed at 7 years old. But it is completely different talking to another parent who has actually been in your shoes.
Mm.
They're going to give you the good, the bad. They're going to tell you that some of the things that you're thinking that you don't want to talk to your family about, that it's okay that you're thinking those things. It's okay that you're feeling what you're feeling. And you need that. You need that reassurance. Um, and some of the events that we're putting together, some of the people don't have family in the area. They don't
Mm.
have a huge friends support network. So we want to show them that all of these people coming together at these events that they've never seen before are part of their community now. That they are there to support them and to guide them and to help them through whatever they're going through with their family.
Wow, you really, I mean, I knew from when I first met you online through your charity that you were such a good person, but you really have to have a special heart, something special inside to do what you do. And my hat is off to you. And just so the listeners are aware, like, I live on Long Island and it's pretty heavily
Mhm.
populated, but I believe you're upstate New York. And when I say upstate, let's call it the Syracuse area. Is that
Yes.
so? You know, there are places say in Syracuse where it's a little more populated, but also like outside of Syracuse, there could be some land between neighbors. And what you do is you seem to be putting people together despite the distance between the houses and maybe a little detachment amongst the community in the area where you live.
That's true. And so I currently live in Syracuse. I'm originally from the Holland Patton area, which is north of Utica. And if you're not from upstate New York, you have no idea where Holland Patton is. But we always joke that you're more likely to hit a cow than you are a person. So it's just yeah, it is. We
Yeah,
are quite spread out. But one thing that we have is just huge hearts and compassion and love for our communities and the people that are involved in them.
I mean, that's awesome. That's wonderful. And I'm honored to help bring your events to the public eye, if you will, through my podcast. But there's also a tie to motorcycle riders, I believe.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about how the motorcycle community has really taken part in what you have so incredibly taken on?
Certainly. So our first event, again, I had to finish up with all of the events that I had obligated myself to with the national charities. So actually, last month was our kickoff for Finding the Next Step Together. Our very first large event is going to be July 27th. We are going to host a motorcycle ride. If it's raining, then it is a rain or shine event, and we certainly want everybody to be safe. So we ask everybody to hop in your cars, your trucks instead, and still make sure that they come out with us. And we will ride from Utica, New York to Old Forge, which if nobody knows that area, it's just a spectacular, beautiful ride into the Adirondacks. But it is a motorcycle ride. I have several contacts within the motorcycle community. A lot of them are American Legions. So, and I point that out heavily because the people who belong to the American Legions, most of them have already given so much as far as giving up their time and their energy and sometimes their lives for for our nation. They've spent time in the military and they know what it is to give back. I'm not saying that's our only outlet, but that is a huge portion of what we get, and we have such a huge base of American Legion riders, and we're so excited to have them. But
Wow, that's
I think one of the sorry to interrupt you. I
uh,
think one of the other things that makes riders enjoy it is riders ride because they love to ride. You get hop on a motorcycle and you go, and that's kind of your freedom, and you absolutely love it. I think about my brother who decided to take a weekend trip, fly down to Florida, rent a motorcycle in Miami, and rode to the Keys just to say that he did it. And then he flew home. I have another friend who, before she turned 50, wanted to ride a motorcycle in every single state. And she actually completed it for her 50th birthday.
Wow.
So they ride because they love to ride. But one of the other things that they like to do is they like to help people. So they get to do what they love to do, plus they get to help people. So why would they not? And, our events are centered around children. And who doesn't want to help, a child in need?
That's just so incredible. I mean, I'm so happy to hear you say that because I think overall motorcyclists have somewhat of a stigma attached to them. Maybe it's the leathers that they wear, or some of the chrome, or the chains, or their long beards, or
Yeah.
mustaches, or the sunglasses. But from what you're describing, the motorcyclists or the bikers, if I can, that you're talking about, seem to be more prevalent and really not the stereotype.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly are the leather wearing, and you see some of them. They have the big beards and, 6'3", 250 pounds, and you're like, I don't know that I want to meet him in a dark alley. And then he's the one that comes over and gives you the biggest bear hug. And some of these people you only see once a year. And you see them at one of our events, and they remember you in the grocery store, and they may come up to you in the grocery store and give you a hug as well. We have a child that's kind of been in our network for quite a while, who will be attending this event. And due to some of his backstory, he is very sensitive to noise. He loves the motorcycles. He will go out and he will ask to honk the horn of every motorcycle that is in line. And then just before we tell everyone to start their engines, we do take him off to a different location because the noise is too much for him. And he is content. He sits over there, everybody goes, and then he gets in his personal vehicle with his mom and his dad. And then he finishes the ride up with us in a car. But he will honk every single horn. He just can't hear all of the engines at one time revving up.
Wow.
And he just absolutely loves it.
Wow, that's so amazing. That's incredible, and you were talking before about how you were involved with all these national projects, and that's amazing in and of itself. But I think that's an example about how you really get to know who you're helping. These kids coming and having a sensitivity to all that noise. It's something that might get lost in a national event, but you're really grassroots. You are right there locally helping people out right in your community. And, with the help of motorcyclists who probably would be judged from people on the outside, but quite the opposite. I mean, their actions seem to speak so much louder than words.
A
And
hundred and
it's
ten percent, 110%. We do. We also do a large toy drive for our local children's hospital every year. So the first year that my son was diagnosed, we had to go back in the hospital on Christmas Eve. So we spent Christmas in the hospital for a week. And what our hospital does for these children is just absolutely amazing. So we decided from then on, every year we would do a toy drive. So we've been doing a toy drive since '09. We went this year to do one of our drop-offs, and there was a huge group of motorcyclists there, not on their motorcycles because it was snowing in upstate New York, but they had their leather vests on representing their group, and I had a great talk with them, and they have a couple events coming up as well that we're hoping to be able to join in and help them out with.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's awesome. That's so good to hear. So, clearly it's something that you're using to raise money for to support the people with
Correct.
a lot of family and medical problems in your community. But maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you hope to achieve through what's going on July 27th and maybe some of your other events that you're running.
Sure. So we're hoping, like I said at the beginning, we really want to be an information hub for these families. When you're thrown into something you don't know, some of the other outside organizations that are there to help you, you don't know what an IEP is for school. You don't know that there's a hospital liaison that should be assisting you with some of these things. There's so much information and other organizations out there to assist you that parents don't know. We want to make sure that we're filling those voids. So the parent should not be at the hospital with their child having to Google 16 hours a day, what their next step is and what they should be doing that's best for their child. They should be sitting there and caring for their child's well-being. And they should be sitting there and holding their child's hand, watching their favorite movie on TV. let us take care of that. Let us get that information over to you. And if there's information that you still need, reach out to us and we'll do the legwork. We'll do the research for you. And then, of course, we want parents to be able to be there for their child. Not everybody is able to take, 3, 4, 5 weeks off from work for pay reasons in order to be there at the hospital with their child. Well, that's where they belong. So if we can take care of paying their mortgage payment for a month, if we can make sure that their mortgage and their lights are taken care of so they don't have to worry about that because their employer's willing to let them have the time off, but they may not get paid for it. We want to be able to do that. Again, they should not be worrying about those things. The only thing they should be worrying about is their child.
It's just unbelievable what you do, and I'm so, if I may say, I'm so proud to have you on my podcast.
Thank you.
Certainly charity is something that's near and dear to me, but obviously it's so important to you. When you got started with this, how many people started this up with you? I mean, it sounds so impactful and such like a big operation. Did you start this all by yourself?
No. So again, my family is definitely there, and so we have about, I would say, about 10 of us that attend our regular meetings, and then we have a few other people that assist us as well. So
Wow, I'm sure you're very proud of them, and
a
they
hundred
really help
percent,
out too.
could not do
And
it without them, and they all just are just so motivated to do this. Anything for the kids. You will hear that time and time again.
so, when somebody finds out about you and your organization, uh, do you usually communicate by email? And then, if somebody has a problem that pops up, they can shoot out an email that reaches a bunch of people? Or
Absolutely. So we are finding the next step together at gmail.com, and they can certainly reach me that way. My phone number is on our website. The website is findingthenextsteptogether.org, and my phone number is on there. Our email address again is on there. And if you go to event schedule, our charity ride on July 27th is listed, and there's a couple different ways that you can donate as well.
wow, and I'm going to put all of this in. Some people can only listen to this podcast, but other
Mhm.
people could see it on YouTube. But I'm very happy that you said all that you did, and I'm going to put it on our YouTube broadcast of this in
Thank
the
you.
comments section below. So for those of you watching, it's down here.
Yes, please
Um,
go down below.
yes, yes, I will make sure to put that in with the appropriate hashtags and everything. Although I'm pretty old, so these things with hashtags, I got to get used to them still. Um, but yeah, so you mentioned people can make donations too. Do you have a way for corporate sponsors to somehow get involved too?
Yeah, so corporate sponsors, I would love for them to email me direct, so and then we can kind of set something up. But we do have PayPal and Venmo set up, and if you go under the event schedule, there's a place to register for our event. But then we also set up a one-time donation as well. So you can select one of the one-time donations, and you can pay by credit card for that.
Wow. I mean, that's just awesome. And it sounds like it's so easy to get involved too. So we'll hope
100%.
all of our listeners and watchers really get to spread the word here. And hopefully, the bikers out there in my biker community and in your own biker communities will just get on this and get involved. Go support this. It's a beautiful country up there, a beautiful ride, and it's not like it's going to be cold. I mean, I'm on Long Island here, and it's like a
Mhm.
summer day, even though it's 40 degrees because it's been in the teens and so icy. But it's going to be beautiful weather up there, and
100%.
people can make a weekend out of it, and they could really help out by riding their motorcycles up there and just really having a lot of fun, if you will, by also doing some charity. And I just want to repeat your website one more time for our listeners. Can you just tell us the website
Yes,
again?
absolutely. So it's findingthenextsteptogether.org.
Okay. Okay. So for all of the people listening out there, please go on there, register, get up there, and there's a bunch of information on there too about how to get involved. So let me ask you this. I want to ask you a little bit about the importance of your organization. um, there's going to be people out there and they
Mhm.
have a medical problem or something very impactful going on with their family. If somebody's listening today and they're struggling for one reason or another, or they're listening, they're watching, and they're struggling, um, you know, they don't know where to turn. What's the most important message you think you want to communicate to them for them to hear?
You're not alone, and this is why we started this program. We've been in your shoes, and we want to be able to assist you. Please reach out to us. Depending on what your child's situation is, we will find the volunteer that best fits that and reach out to you so you can ask the appropriate questions. We do have a large support staff with our local hospital as well, and they continually will send me new information for patients as well. And we don't share any of the information. We'll only share what people are willing to share with us, and we will ask them about that. We never just randomly share things on our website or on our Facebook account. So all of that is kept very private.
And if somebody wants to, somebody's listening or watching this podcast, and they hear all the amazing things that you're doing on such a personal level, and they want to get involved too, is that possible for them, or are you done taking
Yeah.
volunteers?
Please volunteer. If you tell me that you can volunteer for an hour, I will put that hour to good use. If you tell me that you want to volunteer for a whole entire event, I will put you to good use. Don't worry about that. I will take any volunteers. Again, email me. You can call me. However you want to reach out to me, trust me, I will take every possible volunteer. Richard, I expect you up here, by the way.
I'm coming if I
Okay,
can.
okay.
If I
Sounds good.
can, I'm coming. I'm
Sounds
coming one
good.
way or the other. I will
All
be
right.
there. This is something that I really want to get involved, and my law firm too. And the whole riding council team. So that would be an amazing thing. Um, so, uh, I mean, as far as the event itself is concerned, is it just the ride, or you think people will be out there with maybe some refreshments or
Oh,
drinks in
no, we
addition?
feed you. We already have that completely locked in. We already have one of our sponsors taking care of all the food. So the registration is $10 for the ride, and that gives you breakfast and it gives you lunch. For $20, that will get you breakfast, lunch, a patch, and a pin. And for $40, it gives you breakfast, lunch, a patch, a pin, and a t-shirt. So you get one of these nice t-shirts, and look for this logo on Facebook. Um,
I love it.
so you go up there, and not only do you get up there and you eat lunch, so you're gonna have breakfast at the beginning point, you'll have lunch at the end point, and you'll actually get to hear from some of our star families and what it means to them to have everyone come out showing their support. So you may actually get to hear from some of the kids. Sometimes they don't want to talk. But we always get a couple of them to talk, and then we typically have a couple parents who get up and address everybody as well. We have raffle items. We really make it a great day, but we also try to get you guys out of the Old Forge pavilion probably about 1:30ish, because like you said earlier, Richard, it's absolutely beautiful up there if you guys have never been up there. So I know there's a couple different groups who normally head out and will take quite a ride. I know a couple of them took a 200-mile ride after the event.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So they do it every year.
Mm.
They go up there together, and they have a wonderful time. It's absolutely beautiful up there. So we try to get you guys out at a reasonable hour so that you can still go enjoy all of the scenery as well.
Wow, that's so courteous. That's great how you work with the motorcycle community. It's really wonderful how you do that. And I don't think it just stops at the motorcycle world. It sounds like you have relationships with the hospitals and the families and probably the whole community. People probably donate food and drinks, and probably the local law enforcement helps out blocking
Yeah, so
the
this is
area.
actually a police escorted ride. So we will have a police presence. We'll have the Oneida County Sheriff. I shouldn't say that out loud yet because they haven't committed. Typically, we have them leading us off to the next county line, and then we have the next county taking us all the way into Old Forge, so it's completely safe. And then we have a local tow truck company
Mm.
who comes out and they block two of the major roadways where people could get on to interrupt our ride. They have that completely blocked until all of our motorcyclists get out on the main road, and then they will continue to follow us from Utica to Old Forge. And then at one other intersection, we have a local ambulance company who blocks that until all of our motorcyclists are through that intersection as well. So we honestly do try to make this the absolute safest ride that you can do, because we do care about everybody's safety.
Wow, that's incredible that you're so considerate to the motorcycle community that you take all these steps for safety. I mean, it's certainly not something where, we want some crazy people on dirt bikes or racing bikes, let's say, to start doing donuts. It's fun. I'm sure you want everybody to have fun,
Hmm.
and it's for a good cause, and nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to see that.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I have to get back to it because in the beginning of the podcast, you told us a little bit about your own situation, and how is it that I mean, aside from the time that it takes you from from your own family
Hmm.
and from your own wants and desires, maybe to go on vacation, let's say, how is it that you can find it in your heart to just keep giving so much and so strongly the way you do?
We joke about the fact that there's 24 hours in a day. So it's just in how you break that up. Am I spending 6 hours a day on this? I'm not. But I work during the day. I took my lunch time to do this, so I'm able to function doing this. A lot of times my lunchtime is spent doing things for the charity. Typically, I'm already at work. Once work's ended, I'm in front of a computer, so I'll take an hour more at work, and I'll try to get some more things done for it, because then I have an hour drive home. So then I drive home, and typically about an hour at night I spend on it. But it's all about where you want to put your focus. People can
Do,
do whatever they want in life. So rather than, watching TV, if you want to learn a new language, then learn a new language rather than watching the next TV show. It's just how you designate your time. And this is just how I choose to fulfill my time.
I have to ask. I I mean, you do so much, and this is an incredible cause. Can you tell me what it feels like to get done what you get done through this organization?
I think for part of me, and I may tear up at this point, I think back to when my son was 7 years old and being thrown into a world where all of a sudden you had a crazy 7 year old playing baseball and jumping out of trees and playing hide and go seek, and you're given a call that your son has a brain tumor and you need to rush him to the hospital, and that if you can't go now, an ambulance will be sent for him. And I think about my family surrounding me and my friends surrounding me and my community, people I didn't even know who now are part of my family network. And I knew then that I would give back because of all the love and support that we had received. And I think that's why everybody on the team does it as well. Like I said, everybody on our team has been affected in some way, and they all feel a need in order to give back to the community because people were there for them. So now it's our turn to be there for the next person.
That's so powerful. That is so powerful. And thank you for sharing that. And I think we really have to remember not only does it affect the child who is affected with the medical condition, but it does have rippling effects because everybody else around them has to change their lives and we all
100%.
have to take care of one another. And you certainly exemplify that with incredible character, incredible values, and amazing morals. And I really I have so much respect for you. So thank you so much for sharing all of this
And I
with us.
appreciate that. And honestly, it's our whole team. Honestly, there's nothing I wouldn't do for any of the volunteers that are part of this team. Everyone just stepping up and saying, we're going to do this and we're going to help, the next person who has a life changing diagnosis. We're going to be there for them and we're going to continue doing this together.
Wow.
They're all just honestly beautiful, amazing people.
Well, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful, and I too am really happy to know that the motorcycle community is involved in this charity and probably others aside from the one going on July 27th.
Oh, yes.
But I just want to, if I can ask you just to reiterate again some of the information about the event. I know it's on
Yeah,
July 27th this year,
it
but
is.
can you just make sure you tell us
Absolutely.
again?
So it is July 27th. We will start registration at 8 a.m. at Don's Ford on Horatio Street in Utica. And we will do kickstands up at 10:45, where we will have a police escorted ride to the George Hildebrandt Pavilion in Old Forge. And all of the money that you will be raising will stay local, and it's just a fantastic time, just the community and getting to meet some of the families that you're going to be helping. It's so impactful. We've already heard from a couple people that are actually coming from Pittsburgh, so we're excited about that.
Yeah.
And then as long as the weather permitting, we have a couple people coming in from northern Pennsylvania as well, like the Scranton area. So,
So the website to find out information is finding the next step together.
yep,
Dot com.
.org. Dot
Oh,
org.
.org.
.org.
Okay. Finding the next step together.org is
Yes,
where you can find all the information about what is going on. And I'm sure your email address is on there
it
and
absolutely is.
probably a telephone number too.
Correct.
And if anybody else wants, they can also try to get in touch with me about this, and I'm happy to put them in touch with you. And of course, I could be found at ridingcounsel.com, and my information will be below. And if anybody's watching, it's all down here,
Yeah.
and all the information will be down there. But I really wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your day. And you don't have a lot. I don't even believe that you sleep with all the things that you're describing what you do.
I
So,
still sleep.
okay.
You don't want to see me without sleep. I
Maybe
still
one or
sleep.
two winks.
Yeah, 4 hours is good.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast
Thank you.
and sharing with us and the community all about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Riding Counsel with Richard Jaffe. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the ride, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your fellow riders. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and ride safe.